What's up, Trainiacs? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where I thought that I wasn't going to be able to do any sort of Tuesday Newsday episode, but there were some big announcements in the world of virtual triathlon training, and some pretty big names put out some pretty big times in some fairly decent races out there. Let's do it. What's up, triathletes? Welcome to this week's Triathlon Newsday Tuesday, where every single Tuesday, as long as there is news to talk about and I'm not traveling, we talk about what happened in the triathlon world over the previous week. As always, make sure you stick around to the end, where we share everyone's favorite part of Newsday, and that's a story from the Trainiac community. And as always, full links to everything we talk about will be in the description below, which is fairly important. We've got good links down there this week. Let's start it off with USA Triathlon announcing the 2020 Hall of Fame class of inductees. The first inductee is going to be the unfortunately passed away this year, Mike Plant, who was an entrepreneur, a journalist, a photographer in the triathlon world, and one of the original people who grew the sport many years ago. He was kind of like a very well-known figure when I was at Triathlon Business International a couple of years ago. Also, Team Hoyt. Rick and Dick Hoyt are going to be inducted into the USAT Hall of Fame after, well, if you don't know about Team Hoyt, you really need to. Look at how they raced events all throughout the world over the course of multiple decades in marathons, half marathons, running events, triathlons, Ironmans, culminating at their very highly profiled finish at Kona. And then finally, Sherry Grunfeld, who is a volunteer and started her own nonprofit, is also going to be inducted as a community builder member of the USAT Hall of Fame. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for helping build our great sport. Let's get into virtual triathlon training, starting with My Time to Try announcing their virtual triathlon race that is going to be taking place now up until December 1st. Now, athletes can go and record a swim, a bike, a run, indoors or outdoors. They can do it all together. They can do it separately on different days, but you upload the time to a website that we'll have in the description below, and people all around the world get ranked based off of their times that they put together. Why this is super interesting is because My Time to Try is an initiative from USA Triathlon combined with Ironman to try to get 100,000 new triathletes into the sport. So this is designed as a way that new triathletes can kind of get an understanding of where they stack up around the country in a very controlled environment that doesn't have to be done elbowing it out in the washing machine that is triathlon. You can do it in a much more controlled scenario that is friendlier to you. Zwift Tri Academy is also happening, and they are accepting applications just until the end of this week. Now, it's going to be a little bit different than previous years, where people from all around the world applied to the Zwift Tri Academy, and then they selected people based off their performances. In this case, you apply to take part in the Zwift Tri Academy that is going to occur over the next 2 months, in which case you're going to get free training, and the workouts that you're going to be given were written by our pal, my coach, Dr. Dan Plews. I was talking to him last night, and he said the workouts are brutal. And they're actually going to use some of those tough workouts to kind of identify talent out there. So if you want a real good challenge, potentially leading to being on one of the best supported triathlon teams in the world through the Zwift Triathlon Academy, which will be selected in January. I think it's just 6 members this coming year as opposed to the 8 that there was in 2019. Go to the link that's in the description below, apply, and good luck to you. Apparently the workouts are real doozies. So much so to the point that Plews said, somebody from Zwift was like, do you think we need to back off some of these workouts? These are tough. So give it a try. In racing, while things are slowing down all around the world, there are still some very big triathlons out there, one of them being the biggest festival, multi-day, multi-sport festival. That is the Noosa Multi-Sport Festival in Australia, which features the world's largest Olympic distance triathlon, where they have age groupers and pros alike. On the pro side of things, one of the big wins is that Ashely Gentle won for the 7th time in her career. Last year, she set the record for the all-time most wins by a female at 6. This year, most all-time wins, period. And she's now being called the Queen of Noosa. So congratulations to Ashely Gentle, and also congratulations to Jake Birtwistle from Australia, who won on the men's side. On the Ironman circuit, we still had some really top names that were kind of out there gunning it out, not ready to call it a season just yet. Lionel Sanders and Mirinda Carfrae both won half Ironman Cabo, while in South America, in Argentina, Rudy von Berg and Chelsea Sodaro, both of which who have been on the podcast, ended up winning the South American 70.3 championship. In the full distance racing, there was a men's pro only field at Ironman Florida, where both Joe Skipper and Ben Hoffman ended up punching their ticket to Kona with a 1st and 2nd place. Congratulations, we'll see you in Kona next year. And our pal, Trainiac, YouTuber, weightlifter, CrossFitter, bodybuilder, influencer online, Nick Bear finished his first Ironman, which was his first triathlon, in a time of 11:28. Congratulations to him, and congratulations to the other Team Trainiac members, Angel and Kin, for also finishing there. Y'all did great. I was following all day. Super proud, very proud. Speaking about the podcast, we just released an episode that might be one of my favorite episodes ever, with Gustav Eden, the surprise winner of the Half Ironman World Championships this past year. Really interesting guy, fun guy, well-spoken guy. He's 23 years old and is just setting out on being a really established member of the triathlon community. And he stated that he would at some point like to win Kona. Kind of hinted when that's going to be and how he's going to go about doing it. Definitely go check that out if you haven't checked out our podcast already. And this coming week, we're recording a podcast with Nick Bear to talk about how his first Ironman went. And we'll also be recording a podcast with Dr. Eric Goodman, the inventor of foundation training, which is kind of taking the social media feed, at least my social media feed, by storm and helping people get rid of back pain for forever, as he puts it. Hi, bud. I'm almost finished. Now, let's get into the Trainiac story of this week. It's just filled with Trainiacs this week because it goes, "Hey, Taren, as a TeamTrainiac.com member, I am writing you to share in my journey. My name is Ross, and I grew up in Durban, South Africa." Thank you, Ross, for being part of Team Trainiac and sending in your story. After moving to the USA, falling in love with training, but also making mistakes along the way, such as overtraining, not listening to my body, and going full gas every day, I began to believe I needed to hurt myself in order to perform at my peak, and that pain was a common thread for endurance athletes. I registered for Ironman 70.3 Boulder in 2018, and I found myself doing what I'd always believed before to be true, which is to complete each workout at 100% of my perceived race efforts. Race day in Boulder came, and of course, like my old competitive self, I smashed the swim but proceeded to kill my legs on the bike, and I ended up walking 70% of the run. I wasn't impressed, but I was hungry to redeem myself, so I registered for Augusta 70.3 in 2019, and through your guidance on TeamTrainiac.com, I set out with goals to improve in all disciplines, but do so with the structure and the right mix of intensity in my training. Yesterday, stepping up to the start line of Augusta 70.3, I was anxious and nervous, but felt so much more prepared than I just had a year before in Boulder. This year, I learned and practiced simulated experiences I would encounter on race days, such as sighting on the swim, deck ups, surging on the bike, then practicing runs off the bike. Most surprising and foreign thing to me after yesterday's race was that I wasn't in pain. I hadn't picked up an injury, and I was ready to lie down in my own bed and not in the medic tent. The journey continues. Keep inspiring us all and sharing your pursuits in triathlon. I look forward to meeting you one day, and I'm excited to be alive and in this sport with people like you. Warm regards, Ross Lloyd. Thank you, Ross. That is an awesome note. I love hearing from Trainiac members. I will also plug Ross, because he didn't put it in here, but I will. He PB'd with a time of 5:12:39 in Augusta and seemingly felt good doing so. Awesome news. That's it for this week's Triathlon News Day. If you aren't already subscribed and you like these news days, hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to get your story shared here on Triathlon News Day, email it in at Taren@triathlontaren.com, especially if you're a Team Trainiac member. We'd love to hear how your races went this year. Include some race photos. And now I'm gonna go pay attention to Pete. He's right here. Everyone likes seeing you. Gracie, you too. Later, Trainiacs.